It was a strange feeling, like a flicker of awareness before the world truly began. It was the good news, I suppose. A second chance. The bad news? Well, I was still inside, not yet born. My last life, it ended with a period, a full stop. My parents and my brother had taken everything from me, slowly but surely, until I worked myself into an early grave. This time, I decided things would be different. I would break free from that suffocating family and build a life that was truly mine. Doctor, doctor, a voice exclaimed, my wife is going into labor. Sensing the imminent arrival into the world, I felt the tiny being next to me. With a swift kick, I propelled it towards the birth canal. Off you go, I thought. I refused to be the older sister this time around. Like in my past life, just because I was born a few minutes before my brother, let's call him Mark, my parents had always burdened me with responsibility for him. I had to constantly give in to his demands, even though we were the same age. I was the one paying off his car and house loans while also covering the mortgage for our parents. My friends and coworkers jokingly called me a helper demon or a walking ATM machine. It strained my relationship with everyone. The memory of that unfairness made my anger bubble up. I gave the unborn Mark another nudge, a little more forceful this time. He's here. He's here. It's a boy, the doctor announced. Wow, why are there two blue marks on this boy's back? Must be a birthmark. It'll fade in a few days. While the nurses and doctors were busy cleaning newborn Mark, I made my own entrance into the world with a loud cry. The next time I opened my eyes, I was lying alone at the foot of the bed. Mark was nestled in my mother's arms, happily drinking milk, while my dad stood beside them, grinning like an idiot. Honey, you're amazing, he said to my mom. You gave us a son. Mom rolled her eyes. I'll talk. Now hurry up and think of a name for our baby boy. Dad, still beaming with pride, said, I've already thought of one. Mark. May he live a peaceful life. Barely glancing my way, Dad then gestured to Mom. Honey, there's another child. Just a girl, Mom replied dismissively. Any random name will do. Once Mark had his fill, Mom gently placed him in a cradle and reluctantly picked me up. She muttered, We now have a son. Why would we need a daughter to take his milk? Get some formula, the cheapest kind. Even though I knew Mom never really liked me in my past life, this outright favoritism still stung. Ever since I could remember, the milk, snacks, and toys were all for Mark. Chores, scoldings, and dirty looks were reserved for me. If Mark was their darling, then I was the weed they wanted to pull out. I had to be his little caretaker, getting him water, meals, and helping with his homework at school. Then, at home, I had to endure Mom's frustrations. It made me very good at reading people from a young age. The painful memories flooded back, only strengthening my resolve to live this life differently. Oh, my dear grandson. Where's my sweet grandson? A sharp voice announced. It was my grandma. As soon as she walked in, her eyes darted around until she spotted Mark's cradle. Her face lit up. What a chubby little grandbaby. What a gem. After smothering Mark with kisses, she spared me a quick glance. Second daughter-in-law, she said to my mom. Why not give this girl to Lily? She and Tom have no kids and are constantly bickering. It gives me headaches. The Lily grandma mentioned was my aunt, married to my Uncle Tom. I remembered they'd never had children. Contemplating the idea, Mom looked down thoughtfully. Not having it, Dad retorted. Mom, how can you say that? We've got enough land to raise two kids. I'm just thinking of your own good, Grandma said, expertly feigning innocence. But do what you will. She then went to play with her grandchild. Sensing Dad's annoyance, Mom said, Robert, let's give her to Lily. She'll treat this child well, as she doesn't have any. Even after Dad hesitated, eventually saying, actually, having a sister for Mark isn't all that bad, it was clear Grandma's suggestion was heavily considered. Sister, humph. Even if adopted, she'll get called sister when she's back. She'll owe us, putting Mark through school or even aiding in his marriage. It was laughable. In my previous life, they had tied me to the title of Big Sister, and it had drained my life spirit drop by drop. Despite only a few minutes difference in our ages, my entire life was bound to it. So Mark came first, and still I couldn't escape being labeled his sister. Was this fate? It was evident that no one cared to ask baby me what I wanted. To save a few cans of formula, they decided quickly. They bundled me up like a burrito and handed me off with grandma to be taken away. Aunt and uncle gave me a new name, Sarah. Instantly, you could tell by the name alone that my worth in the original family was akin to, well, not treasured jewels. I reciprocated by calling them sweet mom and sweet dad, which made them beam with joy. My birth parents became Mr. Robert and Miss Susan to me instead. Fast forward 3 years. I grew into a chubby-faced toddler from a frail baby. Life with my aunt was an absolute joy. As the only child in their household, I was indulged like an only daughter. Aunt treated me like her own. Imported snacks and milk flooded the house. Uncle, though quiet, would pull comics from his pocket when he returned from work, smiling when he saw my excitement. Sweetie, next time Daddy will bring you another one. You're the best, Daddy. I like you the most. I would cling to his arm, a sight that made Aunt glow with happiness. At moments like these, I'd silently think, Grandma, though she used me as a favor, she did one good deed. Yet some nights I'd feel it was all too surreal. In a vague memory of my past life, I recognized living at my aunt's, but the details were missing. Mom had always claimed Aunt and Uncle despised me, picking me up out of disdain, but that was clearly a lie. Just when I thought I had successfully distanced myself from my last life's nightmare, a glitch in time snapped me back to reality. Aunt and Uncle lived in Shanghai, visiting home every few years. Before one homecoming, Aunt dolled me up in shiny shoes, a trendy puffer jacket, and 2 braided pigtails. I knew she wanted my birth parents to see how well I was thriving. Come on, Aunt, I said. Did they even care? The outfit really worked. My mom couldn't take her eyes off me, and she even seemed a bit jealous. After dinner, I was lying in my room playing video games when she sneaked in. Hey, do you remember who I am? She asked. Of course I do, I replied, flashing a sweet smile and raising my voice on purpose. You're my birth mom who abandoned me. Shh, don't shout, she said quickly, covering my mouth. I'm your real mom. The mom you have now is actually your aunt. You need to honor me and your dad and help out your little brother. Got it? I rolled my eyes dramatically. How could this woman still think she could mooch off me after giving her daughter away? Hey, are you listening? Susan was getting irritated as I continued ignoring her. Your little boots and that down jacket are nice. Give them to your brother. Mark is about your size. And Lily can buy you new ones later. Why is she pretending to be nice? I thought, just to plot something wicked. Aunt Susan, I asked with an innocent face, is Mark a beggar? Why should I give him my clothes? Seeing her face twist, ready to explode, I felt ecstatic inside and decided to push her further. Aunt Susan, I added, my mom always says that you can be ugly, but you shouldn't be ugly and think you're beautiful. Whack! The slap left me seeing stars. You little brat! She snarled, her eyes burning with rage. What did you say? Say it again, I dare you. Caught off guard by her overreaction, I thought back to how she used to mock my aunt at home. She's not holding back now, but hit me and you'll pay for it. Why should your son get all the good stuff while I'm not even allowed a decent piece of clothing? Glaring at Mark, playing with mud in the courtyard, anger surged within me. I ran outside and slapped the snot-nosed little kid twice. He fell to the ground, crying immediately. Then, I threw myself down too, rolling around and shouting, "Help! An adult's hitting a kid!" When I reached the doorway, my white down jacket was covered in dirt. The commotion didn't just attract curious onlookers, but also an angry uncle and my dad. "Susan, what are you doing?" my uncle roared. Both froze. Susan, who had followed me outside and stopped my cries, looked shocked. I'd never seen my uncle so furious before. Veins were popping in his neck, and his face was flushed as if ready to explode. "What am I doing?" Susan snapped back, finally recovering. "I'm disciplining my own daughter. Why are you interfering?" She didn't realize her words left onlookers murmuring. "Daughter, isn't Sarah Lily's kid?" Wow, this is scandalous. "Maybe Tom and Susan," one of the villagers whispered to the other, covering a child's ears. Somebody retorted, "She had twins and sent the girl to Lily to save on milk money. What kind of mother does that? Mine was, my love thought. How could she be so cruel? Hearing these whispers, also audible to Robert and the others, made Susan turn pale. My satisfaction grew watching her get shut down, but I felt a twinge of pain seeing my uncle and aunt equally upset. They had never told me who I really was. Maybe because they loved me like their own daughter. Dad, Mom, aren't you going to help me up? I spoke up as they hesitated. My words and puppy eyes tugged at them, spurring my aunt to gather me into her arms. Oh dear, are you hurt? She fussed, tenderly touching my swollen cheek. My uncle reassured me. Sweetie, your dad and mom love you. Don't listen to your Aunt Susan. Choosing to drown Susan in scorn, I continued. I know she can't be my mom. She wants to take my jacket for Mark and beat me up. The villagers' disdainful murmuring intensified, putting even thick-skinned Susan on edge. Trying to save face, she yanked Mark forward, jabbing his cheek to prove her point. Don't listen to her lies. She hit Mark. Susan's accusations rang out. People gasped in shock, and Robert couldn't bear it any longer. Honey, this isn't right. Let's go home, he pleaded gently, pulling Mark away. That I'm wrong? Susan shrieked in defiance. I gave my daughter to your sister, and this is how I'm repaid? She's my child. Why shouldn't she give clothes to her brother? Lily can't have kids. Isn't everything going to Mark anyhow? What's a piece of clothing? Her words came recklessly. What are you saying? My uncle snapped back. Lily's pregnant. We just got back from the doctor. He thrust a medical report in her face. See? Lily's 2 months pregnant. Originally, I wanted to tell you all in 3 months. But now it seems there's no need. We're not coming back to this house anymore. Lily, let's go. Leaving the white-faced couple in shock, Uncle put Aunt and me in the car and drove off. My mind was a mess. In my previous life, Aunt and Uncle didn't have kids. Could my rebirth have changed some things from that life? Until I was 15, Robert and Susan never reached out again. I was really happy with my life now. My little brother, let's call him Leo, was a sweetie. Aunt and Uncle's love for me hadn't changed a bit. It would be perfect if life could stay this peaceful, but there's always something that stirs things up. The summer after the high school entrance exams was hot and dragged on. I lazed around on the couch, telling Leo to do the laundry and make lunch, thoroughly enjoying myself. Sis, can I take a break? Leo looked at me pitifully. Mom and Dad are on a work trip. You can't just make me do everything. You've got 2 hours of free time. Go ahead, great. I'll play games. Call me if you need anything. Knock, knock. Who is it? I'm your dad. I'm your mom. Huh? Aunt and Uncle said they were on a business trip for half a month. How could they be back already? I opened the door to find a worn-out-looking middle-aged couple outside. Their graying, messy hair made them look even older. Bam! I quickly slammed the door shut. Leo, get out here. There are human traffickers at our door in broad daylight. Where? Where? Leo rushed out from the kitchen with a knife, looking serious. Sis, don't be scared. I'll protect you. I couldn't help but giggle at Leo's small frame. For safety reasons, Aunt and Uncle had enrolled me in a Taekwondo program for years. Leo probably didn't know that his seemingly fragile sister was actually a Taekwondo black belt. But being the kind sister I am, I decided to give the kid a chance to show off, so I darted behind him. Leo, I'm so scared. They're standing right at our door. Knock, knock, knock. The knocking got more intense when no one answered, and there were angry voices too. Sarah, I know you're home. Open the door. If you don't, I'll bust down the Martin family's door. Leo looked bewildered. Sis, how do they know your name? Are they family? Relatives who threaten to bust down our door? How rare. It's your second uncle and aunt. Recognizing the voices, I snorted and plopped down on the couch. Nothing good ever comes from them. They hadn't cared about me in over 10 years. Now, showing up unannounced, they must be up to something. I'd be foolish to let them in. The door creaked open. Silly Leo hadn't noticed my silence and happily ran back to me, beaming. Sis, since it's uncle and aunt, we should treat them well. Mom and dad aren't around and you can't cook. Let's eat out. Eat out, huh? Even if they starved and jumped out the window, I wouldn't give them a scrap. Susan walked in, making herself comfortable on the couch, her eyes scanning the room with greed. What do you want? I wasn't in the mood for games. I just wanted them to say their piece so I could kick them out. Robert kept wringing his hands, brows furrowing as if speaking was hard for him. Susan, frustrated, jumped in. Sarah, can't we just drop by to see you? We just want. I hate you, I interrupted, catching her off guard. She awkwardly laughed. You're just like you were as a kid. Uncle, Aunt, why did you really come here? Leo couldn't hold it in any longer. We've been missing you a lot. It's been so long. Susan even squeezed out a few tears at this point. Crocodile tears, I thought. She's always up to no good. After all these years, suddenly showing up and missing me? I went through 9 years of education. I'm not dumb. Sarah, your brother's got end-stage kidney failure and needs a transplant. If you'd be willing, could you get tested to see if you're a match? Robert finally mustered the courage to speak. After all that talk, they wanted my kidney, huh? I snorted. Brother, my brother's fine. You better not make things up, right, Leo? Yeah, Uncle and Aunt, don't jinx it. I can eat 2 bowls of rice at a time, Leo blurted out, clearly upset. Sarah, you know exactly who I'm talking about. Mark is in the hospital. Don't you have any compassion? Susan finally dropped the act. Even if I didn't raise you, I gave you life. A life for a life is only fair. Calm down, your spit's flying everywhere, I said, wiping my face. Then I calmly added, don't think I don't know Mom's been secretly sending you money to stop you from taking me back. That's tens of thousands over the years, enough for Mark's transplant. What? You had tens of thousands and didn't use it to save Mark? Robert grabbed Susan by the collar, furious. I needed money for my brother's wedding, house, and car. Susan defended herself, then justifying it with confidence. All that money's long gone. Your sister has money and we have a kidney source. What's there to worry about? It's my kidney, my choice. Not true, not true. If Mark misses his treatment because of you, it's on you. Come on. I dare you. Bring it on. Smack. It was chaos, pure chaos. Looking at them wrestling on the floor, Leo turned to me, scared. Then he swiftly hid behind me. Sis, what do we do? Uncle and Aunt are fighting. It's okay, it's okay. It's just a dog fight, I reassured him, ruffling his hair. Don't worry, I've got your back. Then I dialed the phone. Hello, security? Yeah, building 26. 2 beggars came to our house asking for food. Can you come get rid of them? Aha, thanks a lot. Leo, there are no more ghosts in the house. But these past few nights, I kept feeling like someone was touching my waist in my sleep. I was totally done with these huge bags under my eyes. Leo was laughing so hard he almost fell over. There's no thief. You've just been having nightmares, screaming and kicking your blanket off. Mom just came in to tuck you back in. Laugh, keep laughing, and I'll tell Dad you like Emma. You said Mom is a thief. I'm going to tell on you. Just as we were messing around, Mom and Dad came home. Dad, Mom, what goodies did you buy? After all these years, I'd been calling my aunt and uncle Mom and Dad more than Leo did. Sarah, we'll visit Mark at the hospital in a bit and clear things up. We don't want them bothering you anymore. Mom handed me a box. Take a few pieces of jujube cake before bed. It'll help you sleep. These dark circles are heavy, Mom. I felt tears welling up in my eyes. I hadn't even said anything, but Mom still knew the root of my nightmares. Sarah, don't worry. Mom, Dad, and Leo will protect you. They can't hurt you. Dad wasn't great with words, but he always knew just what to say to make me feel better. Later, in the hospital room, Mark was sleeping peacefully. Seeing him like this made me feel a bit sorry for him. If he could be a decent person, maybe I'd consider helping him out. When he noticed someone moving around, Mark opened his eyes. He looked at me with excitement, like a predator spotting its prey. Dad, Mom, Sarah is here. Hold her down. Don't let her run. While trying to be a saint was pointless, I gave Leo a light slap. Sis, why'd you hit me? Leo complained. Silly, because I can't bring myself to hit me. I struggled to keep my tone gentle. Leo is looking out for you. Remember what Mark looks like now? Don't ever feel sorry for him. Of course, he bullied you. He's not a good guy. I wouldn't help a bad guy. Mom and Dad had already explained everything to Leo, and the overprotective brother immediately put Mark's family on his blacklist. Sarah, since you're here, you must have some conscience. The other day when you called security on us, I won't hold it against you. So when are you planning to give Mark a kidney? Susan put the gifts Mom and Dad brought into the nightstand drawer, sitting by the bed, ready to get her way. Hey, use your brain. Just because we're twins doesn't mean the match will work. Let me break it down for you. First, I won't do the match. And second, even if it works, I'm not donating. Got it? You. You what? Why don't you donate a kidney to your darling son? You're big and strong. You look pretty healthy. Before she could react, I went up and touched her right side. Yep, that kidney. I bet it'll match Mark perfectly. Susan gritted her teeth, raising her hand to hit me, but Mark grabbed her arm, turning around. He had a mom, she's got a point look on his face. Mom, she's probably right. She's skinny and her kidneys might not be good. You do farm work every day. Your kidneys are definitely healthier than hers. Plus, you're not going to live for many years. What do you need 2 kidneys for? Just give me one. Susan's hand shook, her face pale as a wall. Meanwhile, Mark continued, and Dad, get tested too. Maybe it'll work. As he spoke, he sounded almost accusatory. You too. Just keep buying Sarah's kidneys. Why didn't you think you could be a match too? My sickness has been delayed because of you. Mark, your mom and I are old. We might not even make it out of surgery, and with just 1 kidney, we can't work. Robert's lips quivered like he couldn't believe his beloved son could say such a thing. You guys can't handle the surgery, but Sarah can. Mark didn't care. I was honestly surprised. I couldn't believe Mark could actually say something sensible, defending me. Mom, Dad, this is their family drama. Let's not get involved. Seeing the focus shift away, I grabbed my stunned parents and Leo and got out of there. I heard that Susan was a match for Mark. I heard that Susan didn't want to donate her kidney until Robert forced her to cough up the tens of thousands she'd spent on her brother. I heard that after that, Mark ran away from home. He blamed his mom for not leaving him the money and Dad for not even trying to match, but all this is just hearsay. I got into an advanced class, busy with studies, and couldn't be bothered with their drama. But sometimes, passing by my parents' room, I'd hear their quiet discussions and sighs. Hey, you there, wait up. One night, on my way home after evening classes, a blonde guy stopped me. This kid, thin as a stick, looked like he'd fall over if the wind blew. Once he saw I stopped, he handed me a piece of paper. The guys who used to chase me were cool and good-looking, not like this skinny blonde kid. Too low quality for my standards. I shook my head, not taking love letters, not dating, bye. No, wait, I'm not. The blonde's ears turned bright red with frustration, but I took off before he could react. As if I had 5 or 6 practice exams to prep for tonight. No way a blonde was messing up my focus. The next day, I took a different route, but the blonde caught up again. I was annoyed. You stalking me? First, I'm not trying to date you. Second, following you is a last resort. I honestly needed to warn you. The blonde wasn't happy, shoved the note in my hand, and ran off. Ha, dude, you kinda got my attention, but not for long. I tossed the note into the trash right away. On the 3rd day, some guy with green hair stopped me on my way home. But this green-haired guy seemed less friendly than the yellow-haired guy. Instead of pulling out a love letter, he pulled out a switchblade. Sarah, give me the money. You got the wrong person. I'm Mia. I kept a straight face, secretly proud of my quick thinking. Mia's gotta pay to hand over all your money. Green hair glared and pushed the knife closer. Come on, man, I'm just a broke student. I don't have a dime on me. Don't lie, Sarah. Aren't your parents always giving you cash? Where's the money, huh? Green hair was well informed. I blinked. Do I know you? Quickly, Green hair pulled his mask up like he had something to hide. Stop talking and just give me all your money or I'll stab you. Mark, is it that bad for you now? I stared him down. Who are you? When you pulled up your mask, I saw the scar on your chin. I left that when I slapped you. I felt a bit smug, just a bit. We're from the same mother, right? Why do you live in the city while I'm stuck in the country suffering? Why are you healthy while I'm sick all the time? Why do aunt and uncle love you so much while my mom couldn't even donate a kidney to me? I went silent, seeing Mark nearly consumed by envy. Good questions, Mark. Why? Because in a past life, I was wrung out like a rag at your house until fate cut me some slack, letting me have a second chance. I value life more. I understand gratitude better. I love life more. Not that Mark would get it. I said, that's just fate. I guess fate die then? Let's see what fate you'll enjoy. Mark, looking crazed, plunged at me with the knife. Just as I was about to kick it away, someone shoved me aside and wrestled with Mark. I fell hard. Before I could use any moves I learned from my master, who is this guy, and why is he butting in? Getting up was rough after that hard tumble. I turned back, furious, only to see yellow hair clutching his arm, wincing. Seeing my gaze, he tried to play it cool. It's nothing, just a scratch. Don't worry about it. I'm a black belt in Taekwondo. Yellowhair's confused look was kinda cute. I'm a black belt in Taekwondo, I gritted out, repeating myself, realizing what I meant. His face flushed. I rushed in because you were in danger. Then he looked a bit wronged. I warned you not to walk home alone in that note. That was Mark. The cops took him away. Thanks, Yellowhair. I ruffled his hair casually. Don't touch my head. He swatted my hand away, annoyed. And don't call me Yellowhair, it's Evan. Sitting at the police station, everything felt surreal. I met Evan in college last time around. He mentioned us being classmates in high school, but I didn't care then. Thinking about it now, maybe this was fate. But my husband was tall and fit, good-looking, with an 8-pack to boot. Why is he a Yellowhair now? Should I slip away while he doesn't know me? I mean, love is free, and it's not like I'm ditching him. But he treated me so well before. Except for our issues over Mark, he spoiled me without letting me slack. Apart from the stars and the moon, he gave me anything I wanted. Maybe Evan's playing the long game in this life. If he's still a CEO later on and I leave him now, other women will spend his money. Thinking of this pained me a little. Oh well, might as well give him a shot. I looked at Evan, ready to share this great news, but saw him awkwardly staring back as if he had something to say. We both spoke up at the same time. Saved my life. Might as well offer myself. Be my boyfriend. You've got a piece of scallion on your tooth. Did I ask? Is there a hole I can crawl into? Curse Leo! If he hadn't insisted on scallion pancakes for lunch, I wouldn't be embarrassed here. What did you say? Evan leaned closer, ignoring the messy yellow hair. I could kind of see his handsome features. That I said. Back off, I snapped. Wait, the girl didn't want a love letter or romance, so who is it again? What a smug grin. Just as I considered giving this kid a lesson, my folks charged in. Their silhouettes reached me in no time. Sweetie, you okay? My parents' eyes, red and teary, clutched me frantically, inspecting me. Sis, don't D. I'll let you have the snacks and TV. As much as I hate to admit it, the saw-ridden mess of a kid was indeed my little brother Leo. Sarah, you little brat. You landed Mark in jail. How could you be so evil? Robert and his wife Susan nearly burst in, only stopped by the police. That if someone with only one kidney can still move so wildly, I guess her health's been fine. Sarah, Mark is your brother after all. You don't want him in prison, do you? Robert not only tried to guilt trip me, but also dragged my mom into it. Lily, we're family. Why make it ugly? I just contacted a private school for Mark. In September, his record needs to stay clean. Really, Uncle? I see Mark as a nephew. Do you see Sarah as a daughter or even a niece? If Mark needs money, I can give it to him as long as he doesn't hurt Sarah. I'll pay any amount. But if he wants Sarah's life, that's a hard no for me. Mom spoke with such power and conviction that not only did it make Robert hang his head in shame, but it also made my eyes sting with emotion. We almost didn't get to see Sarah again, and Mark thinks he can get away scot-free. Does that seem right, bro? Dad emphasized the word bro so much that it was kind of scary. I could almost sense a little threat in the air. Sarah is fine now, isn't she? Why is she all lively and my Mark's still locked up? Susan complained. Stop arguing. Mark is suspected of attempted murder. There's no way he's getting out of this. The police officer cut Susan off bluntly, adding salt to her wound. You should focus more on getting a letter of forgiveness from the victim. Maybe that'll help reduce the sentence." At those words, Susan rolled her eyes and fainted while Robert crouched in the corner, banging his head. The police station was a chaotic mess, but our place was pretty peaceful. I agreed with my parents. We weren't going to provide any letter of forgiveness. Mark needed to spend more time behind bars to learn his lesson. As for Evan, he was getting a scolding from both dad and mom. It turned out that during his rebellious phase, he dyed his hair blonde and frequently hung out at internet cafes. That's why he spotted Mark lurking around and following me for days. When we parted ways, Evan had saved my life, so Leo warmed up to him, calling him brother. Evan just gave a sly smile and said, "You're calling me the wrong thing," before getting in the car with his parents and leaving. "Sis, that guy's weird. If he calls me brother, what else should I call him?" Leo looked at me all innocent-like. I silently cursed at how clever Evan was and said, "Call him a fool then. Don't think too much about it. I'll make you something delicious tomorrow, huh?" Why is my sister suddenly being so nice to me? I love my sister the best. The kid's attention shifted so quickly. I let out a small sigh of relief. But when I saw Dad and Mom's knowing looks, I couldn't help but blush. Years later, Leo looked at the boyfriend I brought home and thought he seemed familiar. It wasn't until he jokingly said, "Leo, call me brother-in-law," that the memories clicked for Leo. People say girls change a lot when they grow up. I think guys aren't far off either. Evan went through a major transformation from high school to college, from a kid with blonde hair to the handsome guy I knew so well. "Sarah, you're amazing. I was so out there in high school, and you still liked me." One day, while on a date, Evan looked at me with such happiness in his eyes, little stars twinkling. "Ha ha, it's because I knew how the story ended." "Sarah, what did you say?" "What story? Oh, ah. I said back then with your blonde hair, you were as dazzling as a prince with a crown in a drama. I was irresistibly, hopelessly, and deeply in love with you." I tried my best to sound sincere. All those sweet nothings I'd gotten used to saying in front of love-struck Leo. Evan was a bit skeptical. "Then why did you say at first you didn't want to date?" "Oh, a little trick of playing hard to get, trying to catch your attention." I wondered if I'd be struck by lightning for saying so many things I didn't really mean. Really, really. Sarah is the best." Evan hugged me tightly and gave me a serious kiss on my forehead. "After we graduate, let's get married." Sure, sure. Better lock down such a great guy early, I thought, picturing a future where I got a generous allowance every month. I smiled and said, "Sweetheart, you're my favorite." A few years later, I accepted Evan's proposal, and both sides of the family set a wedding date. During the wedding, while Evan and I were exchanging rings, 3 people stormed into the hall. One was fuming. "Sarah, how could you get married without telling me? And your father, how can you let the dowry go to an outsider?" Another was irate. "Sarah, it should have been Dad holding your hand, giving you away to Evan." The third was Mark's sister. "I was wrong. Can you and brother-in-law support me? I haven't been able to find a job since I got out of the joint." Only our family and guests from my parents' side knew about my background. The others didn't. So after this unfolded, the room was filled with whispers. It was like when the fruit is ripe, they come to pick it. When a daughter marries, they come to benefit. When they've been through prison, now they show remorse. The 3 really had the nerve to make a scene at one of the most important moments of my life, so I decided not to hold back. With a slight smile, I took the host's microphone. "Everyone, may I have your attention?" I signaled the lighting person to shine a spotlight on them. "Let me introduce you to some folks. This woman is the birth mother who abandoned me at birth. This man is the birth father who ignored me for over 20 years. This scum almost killed me when he called himself my brother. Do they deserve to be called parents? Do they deserve to be considered siblings?" Watching them squirm under the lights like clowns, I felt no guilt, only a sweet sense of revenge. They, not those 3, were the ones I considered Mom and Dad. Ignoring the trespassers, I motioned the light over to my aunt and uncle. "These are my aunt and uncle who adopted me and treated me like their own daughter. They've always given me more than their own son, Leo, and they are the ones who should be here on my wedding day." Evan sensibly supported the train of my dress as I knelt to give my aunt and uncle 3 respectful bows, saying, Mom, Dad, your love and care for me over more than 2 decades weigh heavier than anything else. Now that your daughter has her own family, it's time for me to repay you. Oh, child, get up! Get up! Mom was flustered, trying to help me up, tears in her eyes, playfully scolding. Look, you've hurt your head! Dad turned away, continuously wiping his tears. I looked at Evan. He gave me a nod, then waved his hand. Security, escort these 3 lunatics out. All right? With relatives like this, who wouldn't be prepared? And just like that, the 3 of them were tossed out like little chicks. Sarah, Robert, will they be all right? Grandma couldn't sit still. I wasn't sure if she was worried about her son, grandson, or definitely not her daughter-in-law. Grandma, don't worry. They'll be fine. I gently put my hand on her shoulder. Today is my wedding. You don't want it to be a mess, do you? Oh, well, all right then. Over the years, I'd showered her with gifts and sent her big envelopes of money during the holidays, partly to thank her for giving me to my aunt, and partly to shift her affection a bit towards Mom. After years of favoring Robert, it's hard to talk with your mouth full or hold back when you're on the receiving end, so she didn't have much to say. Sis, all set. We can continue the ceremony. Leo bounced over and handed me the ring. With Mom and Dad watching me with mixed emotions, I slowly walked toward Evan, who was smiling at me under the lights. I suddenly felt so happy that I got a bit dizzy. In a haze, I saw past life Evan, overlapping with this life Evan. Evan who would sulk in silence, Evan who cried when I got hurt, Evan who'd eat every bite of the meals I cooked, despite pretending to loathe them, Evan who couldn't sleep when Robert and his family bullied me. They all walked toward me, transforming into the Evan holding the ring in front of me. Now, Sarah, you don't want to marry me? I must have zoned out because Evan was shaking my shoulder with one hand and holding the ring with the other, looking all forlorn like a puppy left out in the rain. I do. What do I do? I just wanted to kiss him and tease him. As if reading my thoughts, Evan's cheeks turned a suspicious shade of pink. Not now, Sarah, later tonight, he whispered in my ear as he slipped the ring on my finger. Geez, what was he thinking? Not at all innocent. I rolled my eyes. When the officiant announced the newlyweds could exit, I hugged Evan, my husband, tightly. How lucky I am to have lived again and met Mom, Dad, and Leo, receiving the complete love from parents and siblings. How lucky I am to meet you again, fall in love with you, and walk together on this journey. Evan, how lucky in this life to be free from that vampire family and live my life to the fullest.